Welcome to episode 119 of Auto Off Topic. What's up, Brad? Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all those things to you, sir.
Yeah, this is the last episode of 2019.
It is.
2018. Going into 2019.
You're confused because the episode is number 119,
Yeah.
so it rolled off the tongue easier.
I had it in there.
Yeah.
We got some gifts for each other.
We do.
Here, I'll hand you yours.
Okay.
This will be
And I'll hand you yours. This is great radio.
enthralling
as
radio.
always.
You can hear us crinkling on pages. Let's describe what we're doing.
Giving
Alright, so
boxes, giving
Let's
bags.
go right into it. Beautiful wrap job.
Thank you, Andrew. I got the paper the wrong size, so I had to patch it up a little bit.
I cheated and I had my wife wrap it.
And then she cheated and put it in a bag. So, come on, Stephanie.
Ooh. It's a Tarmac Works on brand.
Of course.
A yellow Evo 5. Yep.
I'm the gift giver of diecast cars. And you are the gift giver of Dirt Rally, which is awesome because I almost bought this when you talked about it the other day, so I'm glad I did not.
I'm glad you didn't.
Excellent.
All right, this is
Um,
cool. This
there-
is a yellow Evo 5 Tarmac
Yes.
Works, and these are 1/64 scale.
Yep.
Yeah, it's cool because
There
I
are
like this
two.
car in yellow.
There's another car.
The
Oh.
Puma one, right?
No, there's a bunch of Laser 5s. But there's another gift for you, another car, that's with the gift certificate that I also have for you and your wife that I told you guys I couldn't find and why I'm late tonight.
Okay.
So they're together somewhere in my basement. So that's the...
No, I like that. It's a good looking car in yellow, and
No,
that's
I
a
know
good
you love
little
them in yellow,
casting.
so.
So, thank you.
Yes, and likewise, thank you. Anyway, on to...
No, there's more in there.
Oh, shit. I almost threw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
So those are from Average Squad, and I thought that sticker is perfect for the Raider.
Yes. It's perfect for the sticker. It's perfect for the Raider. Perfect sticker for the Raider.
We'll take some pictures of it.
Yeah, it is. It's a red, black and white sticker, so it matches the Raider.
Yeah.
It's a skeleton with a beard, which is, I have a beard, so that works.
I think it's supposed to be one of the guys from the Average Squad. I think it's supposed to be Gary.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Purvis.
Yeah.
But yeah, and it says dead, and then it has what do you call those in typeset? Forward slash.
Yeah.
Reliable, but then reliable's crossed out. So
Yeah.
that's definitely going on the truck.
I think he says Dead Reliable a lot on their podcast.
Okay,
So I was
that's really
like, oh,
good.
that's perfect. Dead. Just dead.
Yeah, just dead, not reliable. I like it.
And then the other one?
Oh, the other one is the Great Friends and OK Cars.
Yeah.
Which I'm actually really jealous that they came up with that because that is perfect for our podcast.
It's really good. But yeah, I got those from Average Squad. If you go on their website, you can buy some of their stuff.
They have some cool stuff.
Yeah, that's where I got the sticker you noticed before
I
we
see
recorded.
one hanging on the wall. It's the Average Squad logo, but it's done up like the Waffle House.
Mm-hmm. And I also got their, it's on the Talon. I didn't show it to you yet. I got their plate bracket that says Average in the Supreme font.
Okay, I like that too.
I was like, it works on that car.
Yep, for sure. Oh, that's cool. I support these guys and buy some stickers.
Yep.
They're really nice too, actually. They're very glossy, like
Mm-hmm.
thick stickers.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to find out who they
I
use.
got them on, they had a Black Friday sale.
Oh, excellent.
Mm-hmm. So,
That sticker's amazing.
it's perfect for
I never
it.
even saw that before either, so.
I showed it to Jordan first, and he goes, yep, that goes on the Raider.
100%.
I started to watch the Gymkhana Files. We were talking about that last week.
Yes, how many episodes have you watched?
First 3.
Okay.
It's definitely worth a watch.
It's real good.
Mm-hmm. It's funny going through it because I'm like, oh yeah, I know that person. Oh yeah, I've met that person.
A bunch of people on there you don't know are involved in it that we've met through Rally.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's really-
tons
really weird.
through U.S. Rally stuff. I only know Ken Block and Rally stuff. I didn't know any of the skateboard stuff. I didn't
Because
know
we were never into
we're
like,
not into
action
skating,
sports.
so I didn't know I didn't know what DC Shoes was until he showed up in Rally.
Right.
I was like, who?
I knew a little bit because I was into bike riding a little bit more when I was younger.
Yeah.
But
And the first season I saw him was 2005, and I was like, who is this guy?
where did he come from?
Yeah.
How is he doing this?
And they talk about it. They're right. That first Gymkhana was pretty wild when it came out. You're like, oh, this is
It was the
pretty
first.
cool.
It was like groundbreaking. It was the first
Mhm.
time you'd seen any of those kind of tracking shots, and it's just a YouTube video essentially.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah. So, do you know what Gymkhana is?
I know what the '60s, '70s, and '80s like English version of Gymkhana is. Where it's kind of like a more complicated autocross.
That's what it is.
Okay.
But the word I learned this, first appeared in 1877.
So it wasn't car related.
Nope. So it was a likely modification of the Hindi word Gymkhana and the Urdu word Gymkhana, which literally means ball court.
Okay, so that doesn't make much sense anymore then.
Well, it comes from the English gymnasium. So it came from, it's like a competition or a competition area. So like Gymkhanas were clubs in the British ruled part of India in the
Okay,
19th century. And they would have,
so it's a competition. It doesn't make much sense that he calls his solo stuff Gymkhana.
it does, sort of. I
Based
mean,
on the English, like, fancy autocross rules, it does, but...
yeah. So the word, so in the 19th century, Gymkhanas were competitions for athletics and equestrian skill by riders. And then the term is still used today to describe horse-based events.
Hmm.
So in the mid 20th century, that's when it was starting to be used to describe car-based events of a similar fashion, where you're
As a lot of things went from horses to cars around that time.
yeah, it's the same idea where you're wrangling a horse around. You'd go over jumps. You'd make them do different trots and stuff, and
Okay.
so it's that's the kind of the idea of it. It's to show off. It was to show off horse control,
Mm-hmm.
and then Gymkhana was later used to show off car control. It's different from autocross because autocross, the course mimics a racetrack lined out with cones,
Mm.
whereas a Gymkhana is more obstacle based. So
I know I've watched a bunch of Gymkhana videos because they're popular in um,
English
England.
ruled English ruled countries, yes.
Yes, and I know
Like Australia.
there's stuff in
England.
like like Indonesia,
Yeah,
and
popular through Japan.
I see a lot of people that do it because I do a lot of internet searching for Dodge Gold stuff,
Hmm.
and those guys are very popular in like Indonesia and the Philippines and those kind of areas, and it's very popular there, and it's very interesting to watch because it looks like an autocross, but then they have to do like handbrake turns around a pole, and then they have to do like drifting around turns and reversing part of the course.
Yeah, it sounds
and
really fun.
it sounds really fun. It also looks really hard on cars.
Yeah. So it's that's the thing that makes it different from autocross. Is there'll be like a parking box. You have to do a 180-degree spin, a 360 spin, figure eights. You'd
Yeah.
have to reverse part of the course. And if drifting makes it faster to get through the course, then that's encouraged. 'Cause
Unlike
it's
in
timed.
autocross where it's not encouraged.
Yeah, it's kind of frowned upon. And then so that's basically what it is, what it came from. So it makes sense in that connotation why they use the name for it in the videos. Um, Interestingly, and actually, I think we talked about this when your dad was on the podcast. His Corvette has a Gymkhana suspension.
It does. Yeah, GM called it that.
Yeah, that was offered through 1982 on the Corvette.
Hmm.
And that that's just kind of like thought I'd throw that in there. A quick little history on the
No, I like
what
it.
seemed like a made-up word for a viral video. If you're not
If you're not
aware of
familiar
it,
with it, yeah.
But I think Hoonigan is like other streetwear brands where they appropriate stuff that they like,
Hmm.
and they pulled this old term out for a video. I'm guessing because it fits pretty well.
It does fit with the English style automotive Gymkhana
Yeah.
events. It's the same. It's not timed, but it's the same kind of handbrake turns and
Yeah.
slides and
Yeah, messing about with a car,
yes.
and this is probably why we like Hoonigan so much, is that they pull influences from a bunch of different car cultures, and like us, we have our own specific genres we like, but we appreciate kind of everything.
Yeah, we like a lot of stuff. I mean, once it gets outside of, there isn't much stuff that I can't take something from.
Yeah,
As far as car stuff goes, because I don't know. I like everything. I mean, I don't love it. I'm not going to go out and buy a stanced out car, but I appreciate some of the motorsports influence that's in that style.
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy a donked car, but I appreciate some of the work that goes into the bodywork on those cars.
I lean more towards the performance stuff,
Yeah, of course.
but I do appreciate some of the stuff. Like I really like drifting.
Mm-hmm. With performance.
Yeah,
With style.
and I like hot rod culture a lot.
Yeah, but I also really like, and one of the reasons that I don't hate as much on stance culture as other people, tend to, is because I'm really into 60s style customs. Like I love slammed old American cars, which are made not drivable pretty
which
much,
is
which is just 60s stance culture.
exactly.
So I
It all
can't,
comes from something.
yeah, I can't hate on it like other people do because I would build the crap out of a mid 50s American car, like mid 60s style.
Well, to be honest, what else do you do with it? It's difficult to make it handle.
Yeah, you can make a drag
You
car out
could
of it
make a drag car
or
out
a
of it
stock restoration.
or a stock restoration, but it's kind of fun to make them really low
Yeah,
and cruise cars. So
yeah, I will very soon have something from the 50s American, big, dumb, and low. So that's my next move.
no, I yeah, there's just so much stuff. It's like, and I really want to. I'd like to go to more hot rod stuff
Yeah, for sure.
and check that out because there is a quite a few good hot rod
And that's one of
things.
the things that, going back to the Hoonigan thing, is they appreciate all that stuff too because they have people that work for them that are into that.
Hmm.
And they have people that work for them that are into drifting, and people that work for them that are into drag racing.
And rally and
Yep. And when I went to the event there a month or so ago, beginning of December, the car that stood out, and I posted a picture of it, was that 53 Chevy.
yeah,
It was stuffed on the ground. But that car also had like a warmed over small block and a 4-speed.
yeah,
So that is ideal. It kind of combines things.
yeah. No, it's cool stuff. Um, Project Car updates,
Yeah, we have a couple actually.
more Raider updates.
Raider is
We just did the parking brake
waiting for our license plates.
and pulled it off the lift.
Yeah, it's waiting for me to register it.
Cool.
So that's, and then just driving around a little bit, and before I try to make it my daily, vehicle, put some miles under its belt and change the fluids and get it just ready to go.
Yep.
So it shouldn't be long. It just depends on when I can break out of work and get to the registry.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. It's done.
Yeah, no, I'm stoked. So now I can start to concentrate on the things that I've been putting off on it. Like I do need to, tighten up the little bodywork in the back where this wheel well's got a hole in it and fix that. And
Yeah.
but overall, it's not a terrible condition as far as New England rust goes. So that's a pretty solid truck.
So then, speaking of that, we pushed the brown Colt on the lift.
Mm,
This is the
yeah.
80.
Yeah, 1980.
Shifter cable was broken.
It's the first of the front-wheel drive Colts. Actually, it's the second year. The 79 was, but it's the same body style,
Body style.
obviously. Yeah.
The rear brake line broke. It was leaking fluid.
Yep.
You basically wanted to look the car over.
Yeah, before I started
See
ordering
what it
parts for
needed.
it, I wanted to go through it because it's been sitting for a long time. It's been a New England car since, it was built in early 1980, so it's never been treated great. When I got it, it was pretty crunchy already, so I just drove it because it wasn't worth spending the money to fix the rust, and it wasn't worth preserving beyond what it was, other than washing it and making it last as long as I could. But unfortunately, when we put it on the lift and saw that the carpet was pretty much the floor, there were a lot of places
Yep.
where you could just touch the bottom of the carpet, which wouldn't be a big deal. I could pull the carpet out and just weld some patch panels down and call it a day. But the real issue was with the rear suspension mounts to the vehicle. It was starting to separate from the vehicle. So obviously you don't want to drive a car that your rear wheels might just fall behind on the highway on. So,
And the rocker panels were missing.
and rocker panels aren't a big deal either. They could have just been patched up real quick and kept going. But what really put it over the edge is that section where the suspension mounts to the car. So
The problem with the car like this is that it was. I mean, do you want to say what you spent on it? Was it the magic number, I think?
it was an $800 car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you put tires and front brakes on it. Inexpensive tires.
I paid $60 for 4 tires.
Yeah.
And I think I paid like $12 for brakes on
And
Rock
then-
Auto.
Otherwise, you did nothing to the car. And enjoyed
Other
it.
than fluid changes and cleaning it, that's all I ever did to the car.
Yeah. So, the problem with a car like this is that it wasn't worth a lot to begin with.
Right.
And once you start going down that road of repairing it,
The
unfortunately, it cascades.
the purchase price isn't what sells or doesn't sell to me as far as repairing the car goes. It's more, is the car replaceable? How far gone is it? How upside down would I be if I ever did try to get rid of it?
That's what I mean.
Yeah. But sometimes that doesn't affect me as much because you have a passion for that particular vehicle.
Yes.
This one here, I like it, but it's not my main interest, And there are more of them out there. I know of a few of them for sale right now.
They're in much better
That are
condition.
in much better shape.
You
Yeah.
could also not buy another one and buy something completely different
Right.
and have a completely different driving
Oh,
experience.
100%. I'm not saying I'm going to. I'm
Yeah.
just saying if I wanted to,
Yes.
it is replaceable.
Yes.
And if I wanted to, I wouldn't replace it with the same car. I would wait until I found a turbo.
Exactly.
Yeah, because they made the car in a turbo version with the dual shifter,
Yeah.
split gearbox, 8 speed. So
But my point is sometimes with a project car, it spirals out of control quickly.
that was never intended to be a project car.
Exactly.
That was bought as a running driving car. That was pretty much on its last legs already, and I knew that going in. And I drove it all year, and I drove it. It was 6 years ago, and I'm into the car for, it, not counting registration and insurance, probably $1,100 over the past 6 years, 5 years, whatever
Exactly.
it's been. So
So you enjoyed it. You drove it.
I did. I gave it another 4 or 5 years of life.
Unfortunately,
That
it has
wouldn't
to
have
be recycled.
Yep. That Kia metal's got to come from somewhere.
Yeah. But it's just not. It's just not worth the effort when that effort can be spent
It's
on
not.
fixing.
I did put it out there toward the community of Colt owners if anybody wants it for parts or wants any specific parts. I do have one person who's interested in just coming and picking the whole thing up.
Come and grab it.
And I told him I'll put the title in the glove box and the key in the ignition, and he can come. I mean, technically, you could drive it out of there. You just got to use the e-brake to stop.
Chase your bliss.
But he's got a really nice one, and the interior in his isn't mint. So the interior in that car is pretty nice, and
All right. Fair
it
enough.
would be great for parts for him because parts are not super easy to come by. So, and he's not that far away. He's about 5 hour drive away. So he just hook up a trailer and come get it.
All right.
So he has, I told him, let me know, and if he wants it, come get it. If not, unfortunately, nobody around here wants it, and it's going to go to the, great Colt graveyard in the sky
Sure. But
with
I mean,
99.9% of the rest of them,
it is what it is. It happens sometimes with these old cars. It's not.
especially in New England.
Yeah.
People junk cars in Arizona and California that need brakes. So
Yeah.
this car is far beyond that level.
So speaking of rusty chassis, I to prevent that, I fluid filmed the Montero. It's kind of annoying.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't. I mean,
I watched the process be done, and I said, I don't ever want to do that.
it didn't get everywhere.
Yeah.
I'd do it again. It wasn't too bad. I did it in my driveway. It doesn't. It kind of looks like bacon grease when you take it out of the gallon
Or
container.
peanut butter, yeah.
Yeah, like oily peanut butter, like a natural peanut butter.
Yeah. Or like a dollar store peanut butter.
I'm thinking. No, I go like talking upscale, like Teddy peanut
okay.
butter.
Is Teddy upscale?
Yes, it is.
I don't
It's the all natural stuff.
I don't know. I know it's local. I didn't know it was upscale.
The Skippy and the Jiffy is.
I'm gonna really tick off some listeners right now
What?
because I am not a peanut butter fan.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. You
I
like
don't eat peanut butter. I like the flavor of peanut butter. I hate peanut butter.
Yeah,
Like right now, we're drinking Ballast Point peanut butter Victory at Sea, and it is delicious.
yeah.
But I don't like peanut butter on a sandwich.
I realize we get a lot of Ballast Point beer on this show.
It's delicious.
Yeah,
They make a good product.
yeah.
It's not local either. It's California.
No, it's California. Grapefruit Sculpin's good in the summertime, but
Mhm.
this is my go-to winter one. I
This
typically
is not
like
the go-to winter one. Normally, it's regular Victory at Sea without
Victory at
peanut
Sea.
butter. Yeah.
but this peanut butter one I think is new.
It is.
So speaking of peanut butter, that fluid film, I have a sprayer that I bought as a kit. I hooked up the air compressor in it. It sprayed pretty well.
Mhm.
I got most of the truck covered, I think. I think I'm going to put it on the lift and touch it up a little bit with aerosol, but it doesn't smell that bad. It's non-toxic. It didn't really make a huge mess. It was just kind of like annoying because I was crawling around on the ground.
Right.
I didn't wear latex gloves because I left them at my dad's house, but I got it all over my hands. But they were buttery smooth afterwards.
I say it's probably like a moisturizer.
Yeah, yeah. That stuff's kind of it's weird stuff. I don't
They probably sell it at CVS as a moisturizer, and you just
Probably.
don't even know it.
probably, but so
What was
that's
that,
what I
was
did.
that old Three Stooges sketch? The dessert topic. It's a floor wax.
I don't
Oh,
remember.
I forget what it was called.
I know that's you probably watch it on New Year's Eve.
It'll be on
Yeah.
whatever our local, whatever the channel's called now. It used to be 38, but I don't think it's 38 anymore.
I think they do that nationwide.
Do they?
I think it's a nationwide thing.
I've never lived anywhere but here, so.
Yeah, if somebody wants to comment back on this, any listeners outside of New England, I'm pretty sure that it's nationwide that you watch the Three Stooges on Christmas Eve, but
No,
it's not
New Year's Day.
New Year's Day. No, it's New Year's Eve.
Whichever day it is.
Watch it New Year's Eve. You stay in and you watch Three Stooges.
Stooges.
Stooges. Um, I don't know what it. All right, so Project Car resolutions for 2019.
It's on IFC this year, so that's that's definitely nationwide.
We'll do a quick Project Car update. Project Car recap, sorry, of 2018.
Okay.
So I've got mine ready to go. If you want to think about yours. So the Gallant. That
Your
was
Gallant.
my Gallant. That was I got it back to running as it should. I put a factory coolant fan and radiator in it. This is all the beginning of the spring too. I also needed ECM link and a tune. Just still needs a little tinkering. I swapped the fuel tank to a stock one that didn't have that weird sump in it. I had to do the rear brakes, turns out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Quick rundown of Andrew's 2018. I did brakes and everything. Brad, on to you.
I'm happy I did all that because it should be pretty much ready to go for 2019 driving season. There's not much left. And on the Montero,
I stand corrected. It wasn't a Three Stooges thing. It was a Saturday Night Live thing.
yeah,
Sorry.
I fixed the valve cover leak on the Montero and discovered I left a paper towel in the engine.
Oh, that was this year?
That was
That
this
seems
year.
like so long ago.
I put on the ADD skid plates. I did the front and rear brakes.
Yep.
Currently, truck is in good shape.
Actually, did we ever finish the video for the rear skid plate?
I did, and I posted it.
Okay, good.
Yep.
I wasn't sure.
It's up. Subaru. I did a bunch of stuff to this car. Figured out the evap leak. Got
Yeah,
a
that
sticker.
that was a nightmare too.
I didn't get the sticker till August,
Right.
and because it went like 6 months
Expires
without it, it
January.
expires next month. But the car is 15 years old now. It doesn't need to pass emissions.
But it would now.
It would.
Yeah.
Fixed a coolant leak. Found an oil leak. Replaced the oil pan. Fixed the oil leak in the oil cooler. Replaced the rotted suspension parts at the front of the car.
Fixed another coolant leak.
New front brakes and calipers. Yeah. Yeah. Fixed the coolant leak at the upper hose. So far, so good on that car right now. I have to do well, I'll get to that from the resolutions. So Talon pulled it out of storage, installed dual piston front calipers, replaced the worn factory stuff,
Mm-hmm.
braided brake lines, caster bushings with the control arms, new arm for one side, replaced the ball joint, new rear pads, mounted the fuel pressure regulator to the firewall, new tires for HRE wheels, and a new mirror because I broke the passenger side one.
Okay.
Drove the car for the first time in 4 years.
That was amazing.
There's a lot of stuff.
That's a lot of things. That's a good year.
Yeah. And two of those cars, the Gallant and the Talon, was because we wanted to go to Radwood shows with them, so
Right.
that helped out.
Which we'll add a third to.
Yep.
When we get to my story.
So the Camaro,
So we'll start. I think the first car we worked on this year for me was probably the Camaro.
I think so.
Yeah, I did that earlier in the year.
Wait, did we go back and didn't we start on the Raider when it was cold out in the early spring?
No, we started.
Had you already put a head on that? Was that last year?
I think we started on the Gallant.
We did start on the Gallant.
Yeah, we
Took the head off of it.
Yeah, that was like in February of this year.
Yeah.
So we started with the Gallant. We finally dug into what was wrong with it. The engine was sent out, the block, and machined.
Oh, yeah.
The cylinder head was sent out and cleaned and planed.
You checked the oil gaps.
Checked the oil gaps. Did like I said, cylinder head out. They checked to make sure it was flat, and they tanked it and cleaned it.
Yep.
So that was done.
So
And
that
then
needs a few more parts and to be assembled,
it needs a few more parts. Yeah,
which will happen in the next month or so.
hopefully, if all goes according to plan.
Yeah.
Moving on from that, we did not do anything with the Raider in the spring.
That was last year.
That was last year.
All right.
It was a very interesting year for me financially, so didn't have a lot of money to do much stuff.
What did we do the Raider? No, we did something to the Raider to pull it over there because we had been starting it, and that's what killed the starter.
Oh, we did the brakes in the Raider.
Yes.
We did all the brakes in the Raider.
Yep.
Because we made it run last year.
Oh, that's right. You guys made it run while I was in Portugal.
Yeah.
Well, you guys did the brakes while I was in Portugal. That's what happened. I remember now.
Was it? I
Yeah,
thought we
you
were there
guys-
with the brakes.
No, I wasn't there. It was Jordan was helping you.
No, I remember because I bent the brake line, so that means that you weren't there because you would have taken that job.
Yeah.
So yes, yes, we had the brakes on the Raider because we made it run last year. I dragged the NSU out of storage the first time in like 10 years.
Yeah.
Got that started and running. Um, then ran out of money and didn't finish the brakes on that either. Um, the Colt, I fought with the overheating problem all year,
Yeah.
and we finally got that knocked because it wasn't really overheating. It was just an issue with the gauge.
Yeah. My dad's like, here, use this infrared thermometer, and just figure it out.
Yeah, well, it was still getting a little warm, so it's good that we did the water pump and the radiator and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Um, and the big one was the Sapporo. Oh, we skipped over the Camaro now. So the Camaro, I pulled out for the first time in like 3 years.
Yeah.
Fixed that simple little problem of the mechanical oil pressure gauge, the factory one inside the car. After, car turned 50 this year, so after 50 years, the plastic tubing that goes to it broke.
Man, the build quality's terrible.
Yeah, it only lasts 50 years. So I replaced that. Drove that a few times this year, so that was good. That needs a little bit more front end work and
New tires.
before that goes too many more miles. Probably should go through it, like bushings and stuff in the front end too. The steering box needs to be rebuilt because it's got a lot of slop,
Yeah.
or at least tightened. It needs tires for sure
And
and alignment.
you should flush stuff like brake fluid. And
The brake fluid's not that old.
it's not?
No, because remember the master cylinder went a few
I do
years ago.
remember.
Yeah, so it got flushed out then. Also did the Sapporo. That was the big one.
Mm-hmm.
That had been sitting for a couple of years as well.
Yep.
So it's good. All this stuff been sitting for years. When I come to think of it, now it's not sitting; it's moving and working.
Mm-hmm. It's ready to go for 2019, really, to start driving at least.
Yeah,
They're now to the point where you can drive them and work on them.
yeah, turnkey and go.
Well, I don't know about Trinky and Go, but they're drivable projects now.
I started both the Colt and the Sapporo and the Saab last week to move things around the garage, and all of them fired have moved. So, the Sapporo, we did the transmission,
Mm-hmm.
and that was pretty much the big thing in the Sapporo. Got that all taken care of to go to Radwood and Philly.
Yeah. You got to do the brakes.
I got to do the brakes. I forgot about that. I do still have to do the front brakes in that because they're gone.
metal to metal.
Yeah, they're pretty much metal to metal, not quite, but pretty much there. So that's got to get done in that car. And I need to do a coolant temp sensor, which is not a big deal. Also in the Raider, but
You get a bulk deal on them.
I used to keep one in the glove box of every Mitsubishi because they just go bad.
Mm.
So, but yeah, that's what happened this year in those cars. That's a pretty good list too, actually. Now that I think about it.
Yeah. So you're.
I started the year with one running vehicle, and now I have like 5.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Not to mention, in between all of that, we helped Jordan and Liz with some other friends
Yeah, the rally car
get their
started
rally car going.
because they got it New Year's Eve last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we spent that year building that thing too. I mean, not to take credit for it because they certainly did most of the work.
They did most of the work, but we popped in
We definitely helped out a lot.
every now and then and did like some hero stuff and looked really cool. And then
I don't know if I'd call it hero stuff.
and then
but
let them slog through the hard stuff.
yeah, we came at the last minute and tightened the last bolt.
Yeah, look, I did it.
Yeah, have a good day. Actually, no, you did all the electronics in the car, which was huge. You rewired the whole front of the car.
Yeah.
That was a big job. But that's good. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff. We worked on Jordan's truck a lot, and yeah, there was a good amount of stuff this year. Was the timing belt? No, that wasn't. I was thinking Joe's car. That was last year.
Yep.
So
So what do you got? So for your 2019 project car resolutions are to
use the Raider.
okay.
Drive it every day.
Mm-hmm.
Take off road trips with it.
Yep.
Finish the Saab so I can have 2 clunkers as daily drivers.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll always have, theoretically,
The 2-car clunker system.
yes, I'll always theoretically have 1 clunker in operating condition.
Yeah.
Um,
Functional disrepair.
Yeah. Next level of importance is going to be the Galant engine. So
Yep.
I can make that car drivable. That car may or may not stay with me after I finish it, just because I have so much stuff and I'm trying to pare down and I'm trying to get ready to move. But I probably will at least drive it for the summer.
Yeah, and enjoy it for a little bit.
Yeah. I want to get more practice welding because I took a welding course like 4 years ago and I haven't done much since, other than some really bad bubblegum welds in the back of Jordan's STI to stop his trunk from leaking.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to get better at that. So I have the old white Starion we can just practice on. We can both get better at it by just practicing on that because it doesn't really matter what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're just going to take it to drivable beater status and just do events with it. So I'd like to have that car to a point where we can do a TSD in it and autocross in it and maybe even an amateur like Club Loose Day.
Sure.
I think it'd be fun on that car.
It would be.
Yeah. And less on me and more on paying somebody else to do it. I want to get the front end, the crash damage fixed on the RX-7. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't claim to be really good at bodywork, but I do.
Well, the nose is tweaked, so it has to be
It's
pulled.
going to frame machine, and that's what I'm not going to be good at. Everything else is replacing parts, bolting on parts. There's no actual like straightening sheet metal other than the radiator support and the end of the apron, the inner fender apron. So those are my goals for the year, and whatever else I have time for on top of that. The Camaro stuff I talked about, and I still have that other weird '79 Colt lying around. Do something with it.
Mm-hmm.
So there's plenty of stuff to keep me busy, and I think where right now I'm living really close to where all the cars are and where we work on cars, it might be a little easier to get them done.
Moved the needle quite a bit on the amount of cars that you needed to have work on, though.
Yeah, like we said, I had one running vehicle in January, and now I have 5. So
That's good.
That's a pretty good change.
Yeah. And now it's easier that you can drive them a little bit, fix them, drive them a little bit.
Yeah.
If one breaks, fix it as quickly as
Not
possible.
park it and just drive another one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yes. As
So,
the
and then my ultimate goal for 2019 is to move out of New England. So
Okay. Don't worry. We can do this remote. We have the technology.
I'm sure they're real worried about it.
Oh no.
Yes, everybody spit out their coffee. What?
Yeah, so I want to fine tune the glut. I want to paint the window trims.
Yeah, that's a simple project that we've been putting off for years.
I have the paint sitting over there on the shelf.
Yeah.
Talon, I've got an front mount intercooler we stare at every week in the studio here that needs to go in the car.
Yes, you do.
And the pipes that are sitting in the corner. I'm going to have those powder coated. I want to have the valve cover repowder coated again, the stock colors.
Okay.
And I want to do the intercooler pipes like a semi-gloss black.
Take it down from the
Yeah.
2001 Andrew Boy Racer.
So I want to make it look
Red
more
intercooler piping.
like a stock
Yeah.
engine compartment.
Slightly warmed over stock stuff.
That car needs to be fine-tuned a bit. And if I'm lucky, I'll get some coilovers for it so it won't be 3 miles in the air.
Yes, that's a good plan.
Um,
Or I'm coming over with a torch and cutting a couple coils out anyway.
Whatever. It works.
It does work.
Runs and drives.
And you don't have to worry about pulling into driveways.
I did notice, though, sitting in the garage, one of those wheels has a slow leak, which is kind of a bummer, but whatever.
And if the Montero breaks, you can take the Talon off-road.
Subaru is just keep up with maintenance and do the rear brakes.
Yep, and we got to put the sway bar in somehow.
Yeah, I bought the original factory metal brackets.
Oh, did you buy them already? Okay, so what we're
All
doing...
of the parts to mount the rear sway bar from the factory,
Yep.
$36.
Nice. So we'll also get more welding practice with that.
Yeah, a couple spot welds will hold those in place
Yeah.
just fine. The Montero, I want to go off-road more, so maybe some frame sliders
Okay.
if we get to it.
Do they make them for that truck, or are you going to buy a build it
No,
yourself
but
kit?
ADD clued me into the correct length you buy, universal ones.
Okay, so more welding practice.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent.
We'll have to clean off the fluid film really well.
Yeah, it won't stick to that, that's for sure.
New shocks, possibly?
Okay, those are standard shocks all around, right? It's not a strut in the front? or
Yeah.
anything?
Yeah, they're pretty standard.
Okay.
I was looking at, nobody really runs them, but I'm curious to try them. Coney makes a off-road shock called the Heavy Track,
Okay.
and they're adjustable. And everybody kind of runs Bilsteins, which
Mhm.
is cool. I like Bilsteins.
Yeah,
but
Bilstein's a good product.
so are Coneys. Like, high-end Coneys are nice.
Oh, we used to have trouble with... No, it's KYBs.
KYBs are junk.
With. Yeah, Coney's good.
Coneys are good. So I'm kind of curious to try those, because nobody really runs them, and to see how they are. And,
This is a reason for it.
they run them in, like, Australia and
Actually,
stuff.
I have Coney's in my truck.
No, you have KYBs.
No?
Yep.
Are they?
Yep.
What'd I do that for?
Because they were inexpensive.
What a dummy.
That's
right. They literally took like an hour to change all 4.
Yeah,
so.
there's KYBs in my truck right now, and the problem with the KYBs in those trucks is they're very stiff.
Mm-hmm. So, it rides
So even
rougher.
if you go with the Bilsteins or the Coneys, they should be a bit softer. They do run them in Australia, so Australia they're really good at picking out 4x4 parts. So we'll see. If I'm really into it, maybe I'll get some old man emu springs for the back of it, but we'll see. Of course, you can get all that stuff at ADD, Adventure Driven Design. Except
For sure.
Except for the Coneys, but I'm going to test those out myself. they back the Bilsteins, but that's because they're proven.
Yep. Oh, for sure.
I want to go.
Do they sell the Bilsteins there?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
I want to go cowboy, so try something different, but we'll see what happens.
Unless somebody has really bad information already for us before Andrew spends his money.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd love to get Conies for the Subaru. That's
I'm gonna not spend any more money on the Subaru. I'm gonna get some Conies for the Subaru.
well,
Yeah,
if the shocks blow out again,
right.
then I'm definitely gonna just put Conies in.
Mm-hmm.
I put inexpensive stalkers in the rear. They were free for now,
Right.
so just to make it drivable. But if those blow out again, I will definitely go with a Coney insert. But that's pretty much it. Anything else?
I do have an interesting fact I learned this week.
Okay.
And I'd like to share it with you and see if you have ever heard this fact before.
All right, go for it.
Because I did not know it, and it's definitely car related. We don't do a trivia segment on the show, but we can kind of call it trivia question, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the original name of Cadillac was? When Cadillac came out,
Mm-hmm.
you know, General Motors brand, luxury brand in the United States, Cadillac. Do you know what its original brand name was?
I didn't know it had an original one.
It did.
I thought it was always Cadillac from the...
It was not.
Came out in like... I know like... Isn't like the 1916 Cadillac considered the first car with standard controls? Did we discussed that one time?
I don't remember the exact year. I think it was a Cadillac. Was the first car with standard controls. I don't remember the year though.
So it had to be the early 1900s. And wasn't Cadillac's slogan always like the standard for the world or something?
Yeah. I'll tell you, it started in 1902.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's when it became Cadillac from its original name.
Well, Cadillac is a town in Michigan.
Cadillac is a town in Michigan, yes, but it's named technically after, I think his name was Antoine Lamoth Cadillac.
Really?
He was the person who founded Michigan, I think, or Detroit? Detroit. He founded Detroit.
Okay.
So that's what's called Cadillac now, but that's not why. Was not what it's originally called.
I don't know what Cadillac was originally called.
The Henry Ford Company.
What?
Yes.
What?
Henry Ford started Cadillac,
Okay.
but he started as the Henry Ford Company as a reorganization of the Detroit Automobile Company.
Oh, a lot of the early car stuff is pretty crazy. It's all like intertwined.
So Henry Ford started 3 companies before he started Ford.
Yeah, you have all these like capitalists in the early 1900s.
Right.
It
But
was like
I was just shocked to learn that Cadillac, the General Motors luxury brand, started under Henry Ford as a different brand.
early Detroit is probably like Silicon Valley,
Oh, for sure.
where you just had a bunch of people that just knew how to start car companies and were
Yep.
just trying things.
Yep. So he had a big disagreement with his other partners, and they paid him $900 to leave, and he did.
I have heard this story now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't.
I had no idea. I was reading
Yeah.
in Hemming's Classic Car. There was an article basically about just it's a special issue of the magazine. It's got a lot of Model A, Model T, early Ford content in it.
Cool.
And that was one of the statements I was reading. I was like, wait, what? I had to go back and read it again. Like, that doesn't make any sense.
That actually reminds me because I was talking to this about my dad the other day. My grandfather has a 75 Cadillac that hasn't been driven in a while.
Yep.
And in 2019, I'd like to get that back on the road
For sure.
and just drive it and enjoy it with everyone, family.
Especially if your grandfather rides in it. That's his car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have to find a couple things for it, like horns and some seatbelts.
Horns are easy. Seatbelts are
Yeah.
going to be the difficult part.
It's got a really funny story because the guy he bought it from had a Volvo and didn't like the horns in it.
Right. And he already parked the Cadillac and wasn't using it.
So he stole the horns out of his Cadillac and put them in the Volvos.
Right.
This Cadillac currently has like 1980 Volvo horns, which are
Right.
like meep, meep.
Yeah, they don't really
like,
fit. They don't really fit the car.
Yeah.
Like Boss Hog going down the street, and then you're like,
Yeah.
not Boss Hog. You honk the horn.
No. And then of course it was the 70s, so seatbelts are not cool. So the guy like cut the lap belts out of it.
Yep. So we need to find seatbelts for the car. So if anybody has any connection for mid-70s GM seatbelts,
75
preferably in red.
75 Cadillac, yeah.
I mean, I guess black would probably be okay too, but preferably in red.
It's a white coupe Eldorado, white vinyl roof.
It's got a quarter vinyl roof, like a Landau style top in the back.
Oh, that's right. It's not a full vinyl.
Yep.
And red leather interior.
Oh yeah, it's the car. And it's got what, 19,000 miles on it?
It's 27,000, I think.
It's so low. It's a brand new car.
The last time it was on the road was when the year I was born. So go figure.
Yep, that's a long time ago.
Front wheel drive. Chain drive.
Yep.
You
We
thought,
talked about the Vector a
you
couple
thought
weeks
you were
ago.
gonna stump me with a
Yeah,
Vector
I
trivia.
forgot you owned an Eldorado. We talked about it.
500 cubic inch V8.
Yep, 170 horsepower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rip roaring car
Yeah.
with tires that are like the same size as the tires on my dad's Blazer.
They're huge tires.
It's like if you put them up next to the Montero, they're probably like 31-inch tires.
Yeah. Yeah, they're huge tires, but it's probably a 6,000-pound car or more. So
They
it
have
needs big tires.
and they have this really crazy wheel design. My dad was telling me when you go to have tires mounted on the car, they're almost like a split rim or something. They're designed after the early Cords because it was a front-wheel drive car.
I know they have a super high positive offset.
Yeah.
You can't really buy a custom wheel for them because
No.
they're just a weird size.
Yeah.
There's companies now that make, like big steel wheels for them,
Mhm.
but they're not common.
I know it's got the cool like 3-inch white walls on it.
Oh yeah, it's the car.
Yeah.
It's gotta be cool to cruise that thing around.
Yeah, you'd cruise up to the country club in
Yep.
1976 and
You bought it in 76 or 75?
75.
So you bought it in 75.
Yeah.
Couldn't get any gas for it for the first 5 years of driving it,
It's true.
which is why it probably has 27,000 miles on
Oh
it.
yeah. Well, the guy that owned it owned a gas station.
Okay.
So
He was exempt from the rules then?
yeah.
He can get as much as he wanted?
So yeah, I didn't even think of that. That was right peak gas crunch.
It's a weird time to buy an Eldorado, yeah.
Yeah.
Can't get gas. What do you want? I want a car that gets 9 miles to the gallon.
I know. I bet the fuel tank is the size of the one in the Montero.
It's probably 20-something gallons, I bet.
Jesus.
It's not going to be a cheap car to run.
It's funny though. Gas isn't too bad right now. It's funny though that for a long time they were not. They were like maybe a little bit cool when they came out. Then they were not cool for a very long time.
Right.
And now they're coming back around.
It's 5,400 pounds.
Where that Malaise era car is like really cool again.
Yep. It's early Malaise era.
Yeah. So it's fun. We should have some fun with that.
5,400 pounds in a 5-passenger car.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Giant trunk. Yeah. No. But we should. Oh, and then I remember it's got an 8-track too that's like in the face of the radio, like where the tuner is, and you put the 8-track through it.
That's cool. Yeah, where the numbers are.
Yeah, it's like you tune the stations, you put the 8-track in
My
there.
mom's 80 Cadillac had the same radio.
Yeah, so that's pretty fun. Well, anything else?
No, I'm just trying to find out what the size is in the gas tank of that car, but it's not that easy to find apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
I'm very curious now, though.
Well, as always, you can find us on Facebook, Auto Off Topic Podcast.
27.5 gallons.
Wow.
Yeah,
That is bigger than the Montero.
for sure.
Montero is 24. And I think your diesel truck is like 19 or 20.
20 gallons.
Yeah.
So it's 190 horsepower
Yep.
at 4,000 RPM.
What's the torque, though? It's pretty good torque, I think.
Doesn't list it here in this particular site that I'm on. Sorry.
All right. We'll wrap this up. As always, you can find us on Facebook, Auto Off Topic Podcast. On Instagram, Auto Off Topic. You can find me on Instagram, Race and Anger. I'm trying to post my favorite shots I took in 2018. You should go back and do the same, Brad, too. You have some cool shots. Even with your phone, it counts.
Yeah. No, actually, I got a new lens for my camera for Christmas, too, so there should be more.
I'll show you do the depth of field stuff.
Yeah. Thanks, Naomi, for that.
So you can find you at TSI
TSI SS 350.
All right. On that, Happy New Year. Keep your cars analog and aim for the roses.